Gaz brought the sound machine in, so let the good times roll.
That's right. Professional.
Me.
Very professional.
I know, I'm very sorry, but...
Yeah.
Look,
I'm
I'm as sick as a dog, but I still have to bring all this content to the listeners because that's just the kind of guy I am.
You are.
Oh,
lovely.
Almighty.
Look, I'll
all right,
might
you
have a little
vamp
take
for
over
a bit while I clear my
So Movie
lungs.
Groove, if you haven't heard us before, is a wonderful show with my good coughing friend. Hang on. Ow! That's better.
Don't sully the memory of Michael Jackson. We don't want to remember him as a masturbator. We want to remember him as a child molester.
That's right.
That's his legacy. And, there's all the music that he did as well.
Oh, yeah.
We miss you, Michael. Well, I mean, being the father of two young boys, I don't miss you that much. Welcome back to Energy Groove Radio, transmitting live from the beautiful Sydney of Sydney and all around the world. The show you're listening to is Movie Groove. My name's Alistair Lockhart, and sitting in the seat with me is the one and only Gavalanche.
Thank you very much.
Brought
polite golf applause there.
He's brought in his sound machine again, and I couldn't be happier.
Things are beaut. Well worth the $1 from the Vinnies.
Welcome to the wacky zone. And
made in China.
What's been happening in your week? Because I haven't seen you for a while.
No.
Overseas again, or
yes, I just returned from France.
You told me you were going to French Guiana.
Ghana, France. Not French Guiana. I said I was Ghana, France.
Oh, you're Ghana. Oh, right.
Yeah,
I'm
not
sorry.
French
Yeah,
Guiana.
it's a peculiarity of the dialect here in Australia. Ghana, France.
Ghana, France.
France, mate.
Got me
France,
pants
mate.
in France. Pants in France. They have a dance and some romance.
Oh,
The chicks wouldn't stand a chance.
you have the soul of a poet.
And I'm aware of that fact.
I was going to do this. It's like we're linked in our minds and stuff like that. We're like Kirk and Spock, man.
Oh, God. Yes, I like that.
That is illogical, Captain.
No, I was just in France for a couple of days there.
You look tired.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was all that croissant.
Right.
Takes it out of me.
I
Doing
see.
the croissant. Croissant's also a verb in France. You wouldn't know what they mean when I use.
I love that. I love it. I've actually been to France a couple of times, and that chocolate bread that they do fresh in the bakery every morning. You have some of that, and it's it's heaven in your mouth.
Oh yeah.
And then you come back to Australia, and you find a bakery that does chocolate bread, and it's like a little plastic piece of crap that has some chocolate in it. Well, it's Nutella, really.
Pretty much.
They've just spread some Nutella on the frozen bread and then stuck it in the microwave. The food that they were setting out was like it was organised by a movie production company.
Yeah.
They're laughing at me, Cap. They're laughing at me again.
People walking by laughing.
I'm picking them up in my fillings. I've got to get these out. And I'm not wearing my foil hat today. Anyway, the show you're listening to is Movie Groove, and we always like to start each and every show, listeners, with entertainment and movie news from all around the galaxy. This is the bit that we call Episode 11, A News Hope. And among the new releases last week, faith-based drama. Heaven is for Real proves that praying to God beats playing God as it smote down Johnny Depp's Transcendence over the weekend. Still, neither could match Captain America, the Winter Soldier, the Star-Spangled Man, holding first place for the third weekend in a row, adding $26.6 million over the last weekend, taking it past the 200 million mark and hot on the heels of passing Thor, The Dark World, proving yet again that even the stupidest ideas can draw a crowd. Right, Scientologists? Anyway, animated Bird Sanctuary Rio 2 held second place at 22.5 million. Its 43% drop was a bit steeper than the first Rio's 33% on the exact same weekend in 2011. So the same undiscerning Nimrods still have money to spend on another $100 million CG parade float. Through 10 days, the animated sequel has grossed $75.4 million. It'll make its number and then some, and being a parent, I'll be forced to watch it over and over again whether I like it or not. You know what I find that really hides the taste of vodka?
I don't know. More
Scotch.
vodka? Scotch. That'll do it.
Playing at 2,400 locations, Heaven is for Real earned an amazing $21.5 million this weekend because nothing says unshakable faith like paying for reassurance from amoral Hollywood scumbags. Add in its Wednesday and Thursday grosses, and the faith-based True Story has already grossed $28.5 million. Along with Son of God and God's Not Dead, this is the third faith-based film in 2014. That's not including Noah. It's got as much to do with Christianity as Star Wars does with farming. The success of these movies is a reminder that Christians represent a huge portion of the population in the US, which may account for the fact that their rate of scientific literacy is on par with the average lost Amazonian tribe. Speaking of which, anti-technology parable Transcendence bombed with $11.15 million. That's a fraction of recent Depp movies like Dark Shadows. which took 29.7, and The Lone Ranger on 29.2 mil. In the past, Depp's star power has been a reliable distraction from the infantile stupidity of most of his movies, but the failure of Transcendence may mark an end to his streak. The marketing campaign presented some interesting ideas about the future of technology, but was sorely lacking in the story department, in much the same way that Auschwitz is sorely lacking in positive guest feedback.
Oh,
Ooh.
boo.
I went a little bit dark there. Come on, you know I'm right.
No, Johnny's cool. Johnny will stay. It was just a shite movie.
Oh no, he's got plenty on. Don't worry about it. There's another Tim Burton movie coming out, and he needs somebody to play a big-haired weirdo with daddy issues. So yeah,
that's the man, and Boney's wife at the same time.
Yeah. So if you're listening, Tim Burton, we know that your daddy didn't appreciate your creativity. Could you please make a movie about something else? I mean, you even did that to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
You even changed the point of the movie to be about your daddy issues. There's something wrong with you, man.
There is.
Get some therapy. Stop making movies.
Yeah, it's expensive therapy.
It really is. It costs millions.
Have a Bex and a good lie down, love.
That's right.
You'll be right.
In the film Transcendence, terrorists try to stop Johnny Depp from doing computer stuff because they say it's bad. They shoot him, but his scientist friends who are stupid do the computer stuff anyway, and Johnny takes over the internet and does even more computer stuff, which is bad. So the stupid scientists decide to help the terrorists stop Johnny's bad computer stuff, and that makes Johnny mad, and he turns bad. If you're finding the story challenging, it shouldn't be too long before your doctors recommend pulling the plug. Ooh, a little bit dark this week. Where's all that noise coming from?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it is. There's I'm sorry, listeners, if you're picking that up on the mic, but there's people having a gig next door. Somebody's thumping away on the drums like with a Jesus, and we can't really go down there and tell them to shut the hell up because
I can.
No, this is the SAE, and we got to let people do their thing.
You want me to go sort him out?
Ah, no, it's okay, man. You remember what happened last time? There was a police inquiry, and yeah, I know it makes a mess.
go.
You didn't bring any plastic sheeting, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
So that option's out. So director Wally Pfister's first film purports to examine questions of the existential concerns of the advancement of artificial intelligence, but the film itself is so dumbed down, apparently, that it's been called simplistic and puerile by fans of Michael Bay. Critical consensus is in agreement, so it looks like the film will struggle to crack 30 mil all up. I don't know. I think this failure will only further convince Hollywood executives that original content doesn't sell, and that the best bet is to concentrate on yet more sequels and remakes and reboots and movie adaptations of internet memes. Coming this summer, Goats That Scream Like Girls, the movie.
It's a great movie. Have you seen it?
I've seen the Goats That Scream Like Girls, yes.
Yeah.
Blah!
Yes.
It's as funny as hell. Is there enough there for a movie?
I think so.
Hollywood executives say, of course there is.
There is.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Oh, man, yeah. Don't want to piss in your pocket and then shake my size of palm. It's going to be tops, mate. It's going to be tops.
Oh, I love lunchtime. Oh, where's my penis gone? It disappeared.
He could play the goat.
I don't know. I'm sure.
Meryl Streep.
We'll do it in CG. It's fine. We'll do it all in post.
Right.
Anyway, A Haunted House 2 took 5th place with an estimated 9.1 million. It's not a lot, but it's half of the film's budget, so that's a modest win there. The original Haunted House was the first horror spoof in many years. I have those fairly regularly at home. The trick is to do it into a sock.
Ew.
What?
You're gross.
What?
No Tim Tams for you.
Don't give me back my Tim. Those are my Tim Tams. He's eating my chocolate biscuits, ladies and gentlemen. This is not on. Stop it.
You want a Tim Tam, Brad?
No.
Yep, 2.
Those are my bickies. The Haunted House, the film took the first digs at paranormal activity, the franchise, but in comparison, The Haunted House 2 is the third horror spoof in 15 months, and didn't manage to do anything really new with the concept of a farting ghost, a rich vein of comedy which lies dormant and unmined yet. When are we going to see
Farting Ghost?
a real movie about a farting ghost? Because we've been crying out for that for decades.
What would his name be?
Gavalanche.
No. Whiffy the farting ghost.
Gavalanche just died. How can you tell? Oh, there you go. Proof positive.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. So, I don't have a fart here. That's terrible. Okay. No fart sound effect. Okay, so you've got one. You'll fill in the blanks for me.
Look at it. He's got all this technology in front of him, like thousands of dollars worth of audio equipment and so on. And in walks Gavalanche with his $1 sound machine. And I tell you what, baby, we know who wins.
Of course, as always, a big shout out to the boss, Freddy the Turk.
Who?
They say Freddy the Turk. Evil is safe when near him, Freddy the Turk. Only the evil fear him. Softness in his eyes, iron in his thighs, virtue in his heart, and fire in every part of the mighty Freddy the Turk. They say he was raised by eagles.
Fly like an eagle.
And his mother was a mountain lion. That's actually metaphor. His mother was a lovely woman, and by God, could she cook.
Right.
So a big shout out to you, boss. Big kisses.
Big kisses.
We hope you're enjoying the show.
Everyone loves.
Yes, indeed. Bears opened outside the Top 10, a popular nightclub in Sydney's Oxford Street. As they do most Saturday nights, police say there's little they can do about it. There was also a movie called Bears. It took less than $5 million, the worst start yet for a Disney nature movie. It should get a slight boost on Earth Day, but overall, this one will barely break even.
That just gets
Come on, I
worse.
know. I did the same gag last week, and you liked it just as much then.
Like school on Saturday.
No
No
class.
class.
Anyway, that's it for a news open. Remember, when it comes to movie news, this source will be with you always. Take your time, Elton.
How much longer is it going to be?
He said a long, long time, but he did not specify.
Okay.
Anyway, that was Rocket Man by Elton John.
He's getting married soon.
Good for him.
Good on you,
In
Elton.
Britain. And, so now you can get married all over Britain, which is great. They legalised it in Scotland first.
Yes.
And now you can get legally married in all parts of Britain, which means that here in Australia you can go to, if you're a British subject, you can go to the embassy and get get your marriage ratified there.
But then it won't be legit.
Oh no,
As soon as
it
you
is
walk out.
legitimate. Yeah. No, it is
Yeah?
legitimate in this country.
Oh, wow.
So if you're a British subject, because you can have dual citizenship, you don't have to
Yeah.
renounce your British citizenship to become an Australian citizen.
Right.
So, so I've got 2 passports, which is kind of cool. It makes it easier to move about. But you don't take them both to the United States because they don't do that there, and they're not like, so they find you, they've got 2 passports. They're not aware that other countries do that.
Oh.
So you'll get detained for hours because you've got 2 passports with the same name on it. Yeah.
Happened to Al before.
I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Miguel, the man who strip searched me,
Miguel.
he and I forged a very close friendship that day.
When two men go through something like that,
Something passed between us.
a bond.
It was a rubber glove.
It was. And some wind.
And Miguel, if you're listening today, man,
Hola.
I can't forget those 2 hours.
Se grande huevos.
It's really not all that uncomfortable, the cavity search. What you want to do is you want to worry if you feel the insertion, as it were.
Okay.
And if a hand lands on your shoulder, that's when you should worry.
Right.
If there's 2 hands on your shoulder,
Uh-oh.
that's a bad
That's
sign.
it. That's it. Yes.
That's a very, very uncomfortable feeling.
That's the Elton John search.
Next on the show, we've got a segment of the show where we look at what's opening in theatres in Australia and all around the world. This is Opening Scene. I worked on that for hours. I'm still not entirely happy with it.
Oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad.
Okay.
What does your cough say? You cough like it?
Well, as I said the other week, I have something that will remove your cough and take it far away. It's called Farcough.
Yes.
Farcough, Gav.
I've heard of that stuff. It's quality.
It's quality, yeah.
Quality material.
So, we're not allowed to swear on the radio, but I wasn't swearing. First in opening scene, Brick Mansions. Paul Walker is back. No?
No, it's good.
Paul Walker is back from the dead in one of those films that would have been a straight-to-video turd until the lead died and made it a marketable release.
Now, Paul Walker, as we all know, remind us who Paul Walker is.
Paul Walker
Was-
took a bad corner the other day in a sports car after attending a charity event, and they hit a pole, car burst into flames. He's dead now.
Apparently, someone's got it all on YouTube. Like the whole crash and everything.
I'm going to look that up because I've got sort of a morbid sense of curiosity. But
Yep. And,
So that was unexpected, but there you go. Random accidents happen to Hollywood luminaries as well. Well, let's just hope they don't happen in threes.
I wonder if he'll come back as popular as James Dean. Because when James Dean was alive, there was...
No, James Dean was like the biggest star in Hollywood. Like, he just hit superstardom with, I think it was Heaven's
Giant.
Gate.
No, there was
Giant.
Giant.
Yeah.
Rebel Without a Clue.
Rebel Without Cause. Yes.
And...
It was Heaven's Gate. I'm pretty sure. Or no, is that no? I'm thinking of the Michael Kimno film that it was like 7 hours long and they didn't make any money.
No. What's the third one?
I can't remember. It's something about heaven. Anyway, but he just hit superstardom and then died.
Oh, okay.
And there was this whole thing about he was mates with Alec Guinness and he bought this new car and Alec Guinness said, I don't like the look of this car.
Ew.
I think it might be cursed. So, and apparently, then he had a crash in the car, and then from then on, anybody who ever bought the car ended up dead, and
Really?
sheds that it was kept in ended up burning to the ground, and
Okay.
all that kind of stuff. So it's been
Ghost car.
It's been locked away in a museum somewhere, and nobody's allowed to look at it.
God.
So
It's like Christine.
it is the very car that Stephen King got the idea from for the novel Christine.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, but that was Belvedere
Yes.
with, but it's a Fury, but a Fury is just a Belvedere with sport accessories, so it's basically the same.
Pretty similar.
Anyway, Paul Walker, back. Remember that guy when we were talking about him
James
before?
Dean.
In a dystopian Detroit, not at all like 1987's RoboCop, abandoned brick mansions left from better times now house only the most dangerous criminals, or as we call them, black people.
Al.
What?
There's going to be trouble.
Americans call them the most dangerous criminals. We refer to them as black people. Unable to control the crime in a manner not at all like 1980's Escape from New York, the police construct a colossal containment wall around this area to protect, well, the white people. In a manner not at all like Batman, undercover cop Damien Collier is determined to bring his father's killer Tremaine to justice, and every day is a battle against corruption. And good luck with that one, King Canute. For Lino, in a matter not at all like Elysium, every day is a fight to live an honest life. Their paths never should have crossed. But when, in a manner not at all like 1986's Highlander, Tremaine kidnaps Lino's girlfriend, Damien predictably accepts the help of the fearless ex-convict in a manner not at all like 48 Hours, and together they must stop a sinister plot to devastate the entire city, in a manner not at all like every single action buddy movie ever made. The film is directed by Camille Delamare, director of such perfunctory by-the-numbers actioners like Transporter 3, Taken 2, and Lockout, so Brick Mansions ought to have the same level of suspense and surprise twists you'd expect from 2 hours of staring at a metronome.
Now that's... See, I could do that. I'd pay to do that. That'd be all right.
And in other unofficial remakes, we have The Other Woman. Lovely. Beating the odds by still getting work after hitting 40, Cameron Diaz stars as Carly Whitten, who discovers her boyfriend, played by Game of Thrones star Nikolai Coster-Waldau, is actually married. Trying to get her ruined life back on track, she accidentally meets Leslie Mann, playing the wife she's been cheating on, and realizes they have much more in common than just getting boned by Jaime Lannister. Sworn enemies become best friends when yet another affair is discovered. All three women team up to plot mutual revenge on the serial bastard, who, being a bland caricature, is also a white-collar criminal, and thusly an easy hate figure for the male audience as well. Basically a remake of 1996's The First Wives Club, the film is directed by Nick Cassavetes, who's had an interesting career. He starred opposite Nicolas Cage as a ruthless drug lord in Face Off, and he also directed The Notebook, a movie that indicates that what women really want in a man is the body of a triathlete, the soul of a poet, the loyalty of a dog, and the brain of a cheese platter.
Hey, I'm in.
Did you see that one?
Just right in. Right
Somebody
in,
told me,
ladies.
they said, The Notebook is one of those movies like, chicks like it, but guys really like it as well. Lies.
Notebook. Wasn't that when she writes something and he comes back in a different time? Or...
No, it begins with like an old couple and he's reading her a story and she's going like, I know this story. And then it turns out that she's got dementia and it's actually the story of them.
Oh,
And
that's beautiful.
it's got Gina Rowlands in it, who is actually Nick Cassavetes' mother. And James Garner, poor James Garner, he was so cool in the Rockford Files, and now he's doing Pat like the Notebook.
Yes.
It's just awful. Anyway, and also I've been looking forward to this. We have The Quiet Ones. Britain's revivified Hammer horror productions are back with this gothic tale of Jane Harper, a young girl plagued by delusions and nightmares. Hammer Horror, as a production company, was founded in 1934, and despite a hiatus over the last 3 decades, boasts a catalogue of more than 295 movies. They're the ones that, all those awful old British movies with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee as
either a vampire
Van
or...
Helsing and Dracula, respectively.
Yes.
Yeah. 295 movies since 1934, between then and 1980, and they had this really great television series as well called The Hammer House of Horror. And it was on when I was a kid, and we would, sneak out of bed to watch it and then scare the bejesus out of ourselves because it had this gleefully delightful habit of killing young children. Like young children were either getting killed or were the killers,
Yes.
Mother, I see you're having sex with my stepfather. Stab, 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 stab. And that pretty much buried them because it was so good that everybody started complaining about it. But anyway, they've had some success since their relaunch in 2007 with the remake of Danish indie vampire hit Let the Right One In. That was called Let Me In. And The Woman in Black, a ripping haunted house yarn with Daniel Radcliffe as a specky wee git who can't get privacy to crack one out. And he's also in the film.
I know how he feels there.
I know, right?
You're at work and you're just thinking, God, I just want to fap one out here.
Yeah, well, no, I never do. I never think about doing that at work. Never. Never.
Ew! Stop
It
it.
just never happened.
See, look, you've scared Brad now.
Go and make me another cup of tea. So The Quiet Ones is directed by John Pogue, who is the screenwriter behind such films as Ghost Ship, The Skulls, and U.S. Marshals. But everybody's good at something. Maybe it was John its direction.
Yes.
In the film, now it is kind of, the film itself is actually kind of scary, Gav. I've got a clip here for you. In the film, James has been tucked away in an estate outside of London where Jared Harris of Mad Men and Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, plays Professor Joseph Coupland, who, along with a team of university students, are conducting a, quotes, experiment on Jane. Let's see how many of these we can get into her.
Open wide.
Because that's what them smart people do with their book learning and such.
Them fancy book learning people.
I think they're so good because they're regimented.
They took their jobs.
But, Gav, what unspeakable secrets they uncover are far more terrifying than any of them expected. Here's a clip.
Remember, whatever you hear, don't listen. She will tell you lies to confuse you, but you mustn't listen. Lucy, can you hear me? It's Dr. Coupland.
Chicken McNuggets are made of dolphins.
Professor, are you sure this is okay? Don't listen to her.
While you sleep, cockroaches are using your nostrils as a foot bath.
Oh my God. Don't listen.
The Predator reboot will be directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't know, that gave me chills.
That's scary.
That's just awful.
Chicken McNuggets made out of dolphins?
So they tell me. I didn't know that.
I might want to go see that movie, actually.
It sounds good.
Pretty good.
But anyway...
And that's called The Quiet Ones.
That's called The Quiet Ones, and that's opening this week in the United States and probably in a few months in Australia. But in any case...
And that was legit. You didn't make that up, that little sound bite just then with the dolphins, the Chicken McNugget dolphin. You didn't make that up. That's actually from the movie.
No. That's actually from the movie. I didn't make that up.
Serious?
Gav. Stay with me here. We're doing a bit.
Yeah. I don't know now.
We're transmitting live from the lovely city of Sydney and all around the world. Alice Lockhart is my name, and sitting with me is Gavalanche. Has anybody hit us up on the Facebook page?
Oh,
I've stopped checking the Twitter account. Nobody cares.
it's up to 12,000.
So we've got a Facebook page. It's called Movie Groove. I know that if you're sitting near a computer, Facebook is open. Just search for the name and post something. You know,
Yes.
even if it's a rude picture.
Yeah.
Somebody send us booby pictures.
Yes. Quickly. Quickly now.
Yes, so that so that I've got something to enjoy with my cup of tea.
Yes.
Now, occasionally on this show,
Yes.
we like to focus on the movie news that makes the Geek Clique bust its leak. This is the Geekly Roundup.
I'm nerdy in the extreme and whiter than sour cream. I was in a V Club and Glee Club and even the chess team. Nerdy and whiter nerdy.
Yes, and on the Geekly Roundup this week, Captain America backs down. Oh, yes. Cap's getting cold feet on his release date. Latino Review reports that Marvel have announced that Captain America 3 would open against DC's Batman vs. Superman movie on May the 6th, 2016, but now it looks like the Star-Spangled Man is too scared to commit. Disney chairman Alan Horn is at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York right now, and he's had a talk about the Disney slate, and Variety reporter Brent Lang, tweeted the following. "We'll see. We're struggling with it." And that's from Alan Horn / Captain America 3, debuting against / Batman vs. Superman. You know, I don't even know how to... hash.
Hash.
What's the hash for?
Well,
No, don't
when you
explain it to
grow
me. I don't.
marijuana,
It was a rhetorical question.
you rub the resin between your hands.
No,
It's
you
sort of a
don't.
thicky,
You
gooey
don't,
resin.
because we're on public radio. Kids don't do drugs.
And then
I'm going to turn off the mic, seriously. Freddie the Turk's listening. We're going to get in trouble. It's a move that makes perfect sense in light of the level of anticipation over Batman vs. Superman. A level well above and beyond that of a third Cap movie, according to most online polling comparing the two. This is despite Captain America, the Winter Soldier, getting both critical buzz and a blockbuster audience, holding #1 spot 3 weekends in a row, and it may even hold that spot again this weekend, whereas Man of Steel was a dour, overproduced piece of crap, excuse me, with a titular Kryptonian demigod replaced by a mopey emo douchebag with the persecution complex. Coming off Avengers, Age of Ultron, Captain America 3 had a decent shot of dethroning a Man of Steel sequel, but nothing will come between nerds and the Batman, even when played by walking Gillette advert Ben Affleck. Add the return of Wonder Woman to the screen for the first time since a booze-addled Linda Carter stumbled into shot in the 70s TV show, and it's a recipe for box office gold, even if it promises to be as clumsy and off-message as everything else that DC does on the big screen. How have you been enjoying the DC movies so far?
I love them. Leave your brain at the door.
But Green Lantern, it's,
Garbage.
If you leave that much brain at the door, you collapse just beyond the door.
Yeah, it was garbage.
I know. Oh, wow.
That's where the hashtag comes in handy.
Yeah. It had this, because I watched the extended version, and it had this whole preamble where it shows you that how his father died when he was a kid. And it explained a whole bunch of things, as like, his relationship with the guy who ended up having a big head.
Oh, yeah, the leader of the...
Yeah, so,
Green
and it was
Lantern.
so awful and forced and clunky, they just cut the whole damn thing out.
Oh.
And without it, the movie didn't make any damn sense.
Ah.
So, because, I have a relationship with this character. Yes, you do. Okay, moving on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Oh, well. But, so for all those who were waiting for a Green Lantern movie, that was a massive disappointment.
It was. What a shame, too, because Green Lantern's one of my favourites.
Magic Ring?
Yeah, Shazam. It's one of the most powerful artifacts in the universe.
It's like one of those things that, a lot of people write about, the psychosexual construct that are the superhero mythos. These things were written by guys who were getting paid nothing. Artists and writers both. They were getting paid nothing. It was the kind of job that you got when you were trying to get a job in the advertising industry, if you were an illustrator or a writer. And you didn't tell anybody you did comics because they would laugh at you and pee on you. So,
in that order.
So they were created by some guy coming in and going, okay, we need a new comic artist, see?
Yeah, that's right.
And I need it by 12 o'clock, see?
Yeah, he'll do. And the tights. Yeah. And we
So-
need some broads. Yeah.
So the guy said he's always going, I don't know. Looking around, he sees a plant. Green lamp? No, that's no good. Lantern. Okay, that's better. All right, so he's got a magic ring. Green Lantern. Got a magic ring. Okay, good. We got a ball game. That's how they were created. They just pulled them fresh and steaming out their bums. That wasn't the right sound effect, was it, Gav? Okay, enough.
My machine wins. $1.
Regardless of the macho posturing that has been taking place over the last couple of weeks, it was a foregone conclusion that Marvel were going to need to blink on this one. It was always going to be a costly battle, even for an unlikely winner. So I think that Marvel have made the smart choice, thereby leaving the spoils of victory to us nerds. Meanwhile, movies about sports still rate about as much interest as nude photos of John Goodman.
Aw, I got mine autographed as well by Johnny. And he wasn't using his hands when he signed it, lady.
Yeah, do a good John Goodman there. Do that again.
I don't know that wasn't real Don Goodman. I don't know. I was just pulling something out of my behind.
It's not too bad. I'll be Roseanne.
No, I'm getting laid off again. I'm not sure as hell ain't getting laid. Okay, I'm out of here. You know, the kid that was in that is now in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, that guy. He was in Roseanne.
And the girl
then
as
he
well,
was-
his daughter,
Yeah.
is in the Big Bang Theory as well.
Is she?
Yep.
Oh.
She's one of the spin-off characters.
As unpopular as it might make me, I don't actually watch Big Bang.
No, I've only seen it a couple of times. You can watch it on the internet without the laugh track, without the old going on behind it.
Yeah, see, I bailed out.
And it's not funny in it originally, but it's really flat without the laugh track. It's terrible.
Yeah. So, I bailed out before it even started because they said, from the creators of 2.5 Men. I'm out.
Click. Yep. Thank you.
Anyway, Star Wars. Oh, has that sting ever been more apt? And still at Tribeca Bloomberg T. Bloomberg T. Should have been a comma in there. I apologise for not putting a comma in my running sheet. Let's start again. And still at Tribe. You see, what I do is we do a podcast. Search for my name, Alistair Lockhart, or Movie Groove on YouTube. We've got podcasts of all the shows. If you missed anything, then you can go back and listen to them again.
I thought you
and
were
again
making
and
stuff
again.
up off the top of your head.
Shush.
Oh, hang on, that's my job.
So yeah, what I do is that I edit all the ums out of it. One day I'm going to put just a whole reel of all the ums.
Yep.
That'll last for hours. We'll just play that.
Just say it's an old Pink Floyd song or something.
It's a cure for insomnia. Star Wars.
You just said a big as well then.
And still at Tribeca. comma. Bloomberg TV has an exclusive interview again with Disney chairman Alan Horn, in which the powerful exec did precisely what was expected of him by being so placid and coy. It was 15 to 20 minutes before the audience realized he had begun to speak. In terms of casting, Horn says they're almost completely cast for the new Star Wars movie, but not yet ready to announce, probably in case one of the principals suddenly dies of old age. We're not prepared to announce it yet, but we will be very shortly. We did some second unit work in Abu Dhabi. We have to give it the Star Warsian look.
Star Warsian.
Star Warsian, bibbled Horn, looking somewhat uncomfortable as he struggled to remember what a Star Wars actually looks like. So we needed to go to different places to give us the right look and feel, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. Yes, we haven't commenced the main part of principal photography yet. While reeling from this bombshell, one of the assembled nerds briefly looked up from his laptop and coughed to cover up a small squeaky fart. When asked about a release date, Horn again revealed very little while saying bugger all. It depends on the readiness of the screenplays or where we are, but this first one will be December 18th of 2015. So we'll start with that and we'll see, he droned, as moss began to sprout on his lapels. About the budget, we actually don't have the completed budget yet, mumbled the suited life form, but it will be in that range, in the neighbourhood of 175 to 200 million. So, a modest budget for this one. Some are more, some are less. We need to give the audience essentially a full meal in return for their affection and devotion and love for these properties.
So what, you get a movie and a meal? That's pretty good.
It is nice. At this point, the interviewer noticed that the audience were beginning to gently decompose. So he hit Horn with the big one. What about George Lucas? George is a consultant, said a disembodied voice from the ether. The understanding is when he sold the company, and he did sell the company to Walt Disney, so we are now the primary drivers behind this property, but he is a very valued person. Kathy interacts with him, back and forth, I think.
Ooh, back and forth.
At this, the story says, a black hole began to form at the base of his skull, and his gelatinous dome collapsed gently into an alternate dimension of pure tedium. At the site of the film festival, all that remains of the event is a mile-wide Stygian pit, the hulls of the lost echoing from somewhere within. So there you have it. If you'd like to watch that interview, it's posted on our Facebook page. Enjoy. And Terminator. Terminator fans rejoice. Are you rejoicing, Gav?
Hail. Hail.
Hail.
Yay.
If you're amongst the earnest hopeful that believe director Alan Taylor's reboot within a sequel is going to bring the franchise back from the realm of suck, then God bless you and take solace in the fact that Terminator Genisys has begun filming. Isn't that beautiful?
That was my audience at comedy night the other night.
They do that to me too. Somebody brings in that noise. It's not fair.
It's just not cricket, old bean.
Oh boy.
What? It isn't. Well, it is, but it isn't.
Anyway, Taylor, the Game of Thrones veteran that also brought us last year's Thor: The Dark World, a movie that was just good enough to be called a movie, despite having no effect on Marvel story continuity whatsoever, has put together a cast that includes Academy Award-winning nominees, fellow Game of Thrones veterans, and most importantly, the face of the franchise, the Austrian oak himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, suited up and keen to travel back in time once more to watch a movie he's been in that's actually good. But does Skynet have that much power? Only time will tell. Skydance Productions, I've got a pic here, has taken to its official Facebook page to reveal the film slate for the very first shot of the very first scene for Terminator Genisys. Included is an intriguing glimpse of what was first thought to be a massive spoiler. Now you can see there on the top right, Gav, it says R.I.P. Sarah. What does that mean to you?
Well, R.I.P. is that famous comedian Rip Torn.
I see.
And Sarah is, of course, that delicious
You never saw
confectionery
Terminator then?
taster we have, Sarah Lee. So Rip Torn is advertising Sarah Lee Danishes or something. That's the way I see that.
You do realise that we're on air.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. Anyway, it says R.I.P. Sarah, and that brings to mind Sarah Connor, the mother of the future, who'll be played this time around by the mother of dragons, Game of Thrones' Emilia Clarke, bringing some floor back into the franchise.
All right, she is.
She is. Whoa, we're very old men. Well, the character's going to be featured prominently in this film, which will use time travel in a very similar way to the upcoming X-Men Days of Future Past, where it will be used as a way to stop nerds writing pedantic blogs about all the glitches in the series continuity. Indicating that the producers clearly don't know who they're dealing with. So, could the R.I.P. Sarah thing be referring to a sequence where they effectively change the character's fate? No. Not long after the release of the shot, a spokesperson for the production staff at Skydance confirmed. R.I.P. Sarah is for Sarah Jones, the second assistant camera who died on the set of Midnight Rider, which is the upcoming Greg Allman biopic. Greg Allman being famous for being in the Allman Brothers Band. There has been a whole movement called Slates for Sarah, where productions would pay tribute to her on their slates. So, no actual spoilers there. I guess nerds need to listen more and stop rambling, man.
I'm turning into Lurch.
You're wrong.
Or Sideshow Bob.
That's a good Sideshow Bob. Do that again.
With a rake hitting him in the face.
Yes, I do like that. And that's all for the Geekly Roundup this week. And remember, if it ain't an obsession, it ain't geek. I don't have a sting. We'll do this one again. It's geeky enough.
How about this one?
So I just wanted to have a look at this horror film again because we played a clip of it earlier. If you missed out on that, it was quite good.
Scary.
Listen to the podcast. They get posted on Monday. Listen to the podcast if you want to go back and listen to the first part. But I have a second exclusive clip. Again, This is a Movie Groove exclusive. This hasn't been released to any other media outlet, so these are exclusive to Movie Groove.
We nicked them.
We're now going back to the second clip from The Quiet Ones.
Professor, we don't know what might happen. We are not finished yet.
Your wife uses your toothbrush to clean under the fridge.
No, I can't hear this. Calm yourself. We are men of science.
That smell in your room is a discarded tampon.
I shan't listen.
You'll never find it.
Stop. You mustn't pay her any heed.
In the movie of your life, you will be played by Rob Schneider.
That's terrifying.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, be upstanding.
That is terrifying.
Outstanding and outstanding.
You know, if you love being scared, get along and see that movie because my stomach's turning loop to loops, man, on that one. And each week we breach the veil between worlds as we look at the events of the future in theaters across the globe through the terrifying wormhole of the event horizon.
Increase power to maximum. We are going through.
Ooh. Welcome to the future. Flash Gordon.
What?
I said Flash Gordon. Ain't it cool news reports? You remember Flash.
Go, Flash, go.
20th Century Fox has locked down the rights to Flash Gordon. And as we reported last week, they've hired a pair of writers to bring Alex Raymond's creation to the screen for the first time in 35 years.
Was it 35 years ago that movie came out? It couldn't have been, because I was in year
It was 1980, so it's 34. It's coming up on its 35th anniversary anyway.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I
went with Kevin Kearns' birthday. Kevin Kearns eats worms. We all went and saw Flash Gordon. And it came out, about 8 of us.
So you were saying, yeah.
Whoa. It was great.
It would have been rocking. I went with Will Swan, my old and good friend Will Swan. I hope you're listening tonight, Will. So, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, hot off their work on Star Trek 3, have been tasked by Fox to work with producer John Davis, who produced Predators and Chronicle, who allegedly spent a year and some of his own money trying to nail down the rights to the world-famous 80-year-old property. And no, I'm not talking about your mum.
Oh!
Thank you. I'm going to go with a rim shot for that one.
A rim shot.
Just like your mum did.
Yeah.
Hey! Now, like many members of our generation, we know Flash Gordon primarily through Mike Hodges' 1980 feature film, with its 70s era camp, the dubbed Sam J. Jones as Outer Space Ken, accessories sold separately, and the legendary Queen soundtrack, and the performance of A Lifetime by the mighty Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed!
Fly, my beauties! He's great.
I've been goosed!
Gordon's alive, flying blind on a rocket cycle. If they get the right director and leading man for this flick, but who's going to do a side-out quality Ming? And Voltan, it's never going to happen, kids. The best is past, I'm afraid. But this could do what Carter and Green Lantern couldn't, i.e. buy the producers enough Valium with which to kill themselves.
Oh, gosh.
John Carter, the Disney filed $200 million in the loss column over that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it?
No.
Wow. Just long stretches of lots happening and just unforgivably boring. You just can't find a reason to care while you're watching this film.
Was it the guy from 300 was in it?
No, he played Gambit in Origins Wolverine.
Yep. Oh, okay.
And he was in Battleship, if you saw that.
No.
Railhead. Wrong one. Okay, hang on. Railhead.
What?
Yeah. Warner Brothers must have been happy with Doug Liman's Edge of Tomorrow because they've already hired him to direct another sci-fi adaptation. THR has broken the news that Lyman is in talks to direct Railhead, based on the yet-to-be-released novel by Philip Reeve. It's a children's novel about a small-time thief tricked into stealing a MacGuffin of galactic importance. George Lucas had plans to sue before realizing he doesn't count as a real person anymore and needs to quietly die alone where we can't see him. Big shout out to George there. In this universe, interstellar travel is achieved through a train system that utilizes portal technology, which the thief utilizes in his attempt to stay one step ahead of both his employers and the parties, both human and extraterrestrial, hunting down his newfound artifact. For those living in Australia, it's not so fanciful a concept when you consider that in other countries, trains actually work. Spielberg.
What?
Perfection. The Wrap reports that the bearded bard's been busy, it seems. There are a number of projects swirling around the director, and news of another one just cut loose. A new flick is set up at DreamWorks. Set during the Cold War, has box office giant Tom Hanks attached to star. Spielberg is producing and possibly directing, so the studio will be looking to make roughly enough money to cover the debt of a sub-Saharan continent. The story focuses on a lawyer who is sent behind the Iron Curtain by the CIA to negotiate the release of a pilot whose spy plane was shot down over Russia, and Tom Hanks would play the lawyer, James Donovan. This is a true story, and James Donovan was a very interesting dude. He was a Harvard-educated lawyer, a Navy commander, and began his career as an assistant trial counsel at the Nuremberg trials. He was working within the Kennedy administration when he was sent to negotiate for the release of U-2 pilot Gary Powers. He also helped set up the CIA and knows nothing about any grassy knoll senator. Nope. This sounds like a cool project for doing in a Spielberg style, and Tom Hanks is perfect for this role because he's Tom Hanks and we love him. Except in The Terminal, because watching that movie was worse than dying and being reincarnated as Tony Abbott's bicycle seat.
Oh.
I can smell it now. It's a small world.
What?
I said it's a small world.
What?
You're just not listening. And in a move that has been called a sign of genuine progress by the Dark Lord Satan, Disney has hired National Treasure and Las Vegas director John Turteltaub to turn yet another of their rides into a major motion picture. The work has begun on a script based on It's a Small World, currently celebrating its 50-year anniversary, and they've lined up Turteltaub, director of Las Vegas, to direct. With Tomorrowland, Magic Kingdom, and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, this would bring the total of movies based on Disney theme park rides to 11, and the total of number of good movies based on Disney theme park rides to 1.
So do they go with the ride first and then make the movie?
The ride's been around for decades.
Right.
It was actually there when it opened, and it wasn't actually made by Disney. It was made for the 1964 World's Fair, and they bought it from them and just set it up in Disneyland.
Okay.
And basically, you've got little animatronic dolls of children all over the world, and they sing this awful repetitive song that makes you want to claw your own ears off.
It's a small world after all.
No, anything but that.
So, it's been there for half a century. It makes sense for Disney to try and connect folks' affection or nostalgia for the ride to a brand new feature.
How are they going to make a movie out of this? What are they?
I
How
don't know. How were they going to make a movie out of Pirates of the Caribbean? The first one ended up being quite good. It's just a ride, you go through and there's animatronic pirates in it. Because I was in it when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And it was the most amazing thing that had ever happened to me. You know those rides that you get at the Royal Easter Show where it's supposed to be a haunted house and it's like you do one quick circuit that costs $5 and you go in and you just get yelled at by one animatronic thing and then you pop out the other side and they're just rubbish, right? So we got on Pirates of the Caribbean ride and it looked like it was going to be exactly the same thing because the initial circuit just looks like that, one little circuit. Mm-hmm. But then you disappear behind this thing and then go down a ramp and you're in there for, 20 minutes or something.
Wow.
So when you're a 10-year-old, it's the best thing that's ever happened to you in your life to that date, bar none. Anyway, I imagine a story involving children of different ethnicities banding together to make the world a little more empathic in some way. But the ride is so genial and bland that the filmmakers have very few requirements to meet in terms of plot. If you're getting excited about a Small World movie, what is wrong with you? Anyway, that, my friends, is everything this week on the horizon. We now return you to your regularly scheduled reality.
But it was wasn't a dream. It was a place. And you were there.
Get her in a straitjacket and lock her in a room.
The show you're listening to is called Movie Groove. And each week at Movie Groove, we like to take a look at the oft overlooked art of movie music from Hollywood and the unsung heroes who create it in a bit we call the sound of movies. This week in the Sound of Movies, we're profiling, I'm going to like this, one of the real giants of music, Mr. Brian May. Not the other one, this one. We'll do the other one next week. Commander of the British Empire, astrophysicist, singer, songwriter, and animal lover, currently on a quest to end fox hunting and badger culling in Britain, as well as achieving a certain measure of notoriety as a lead guitarist of a rock band called Queen? Yeah, Queen. Playing a guitar he built himself called the Red Special. May's compositions include classic Queen standards such as We Will Rock You, I Want It All, Tie Your Mother Down, already did, The Show Must Go On, Fat Bottom Girls, ooh, another favourite of mine, I ain't talking about the song, baby, and Who Wants to Live Forever, I do. His trademark homemade Res Special guitar was constructed essentially from old junk. Amongst the components that make up the guitar are motorcycle valve springs, a knitting needle, mother-of-pearl buttons, and a discarded fireplace mantle. His resourcefulness doesn't stop there. The guitarist, finding after much experimentation that the best guitar sound came from using an old English sixpence coin as pick. These coins went out of circulation in the early 70s, so in 1992 he had the Royal Mint make up some more with his likeness on them. So wasn't that nice of him?
Really? He made up his own coins.
That's fantastic.
Wow, rock god.
Well, it does give his guitaring a very distinctive sound, like Billy Gibbons. You know, Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. So he uses a peso as a pick, yeah. So I think he just does it to be cool, but anyway, it does give a distinctive sound.
Okay.
Keith Richards is another one that has a very distinctive sound because he just doesn't have a high E string on his guitar.
Yeah.
Like, you know, musicians were like, you know, for years going like, how do you get that unique sound? Nobody can just do it. And he says, I just don't put an E string on the guitar.
Wow.
So, yeah. In any case, I think it's because that's the one that breaks first and he's so high that he just can't be bothered with it.
Yeah.
Another E string. Well, yeah, to hell with it.
Runs out of guitars at the end of the show.
Anyway, 2005, a Planet Rock poll saw May voted the 7th greatest guitarist of all time. Was that unfair? He was ranked number 26 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 100 greatest guitarists of all time. In 2012, May was ranked the 2nd greatest guitarist of all time by a Guitar World magazine reader's poll, so that's nice.
Who came first? Probably Jimi Hendrix.
No? I mean, that would be awfully predictable, but yeah. I'm guessing Jimi Hendrix or, I don't know, Django Reinhardt.
Yes.
May's songs have featured in over 128 TV shows and movies, including recent hits Ted, Despicable Me 2, Real Steel, and Sucker Punch, and of course this old cheeseball classic from 1980. A sentimental favourite of old farts like ourselves, this is Brian May and Queen, with the theme from Flash Gordon.
Will you destroy this,
Later. I like to play with things a while.
And every week in this segment, I like to remind the listeners that my favourite bit of the Oscars is the in memoriam bit. But why wait until March when we can enjoy death every week in a bit that we call Dead for Reals?
Behind the clouds, the sun is shining. There's a big blue sky waiting right behind the clouds.
Well, you're dead now, so shut up.
Ah, lovely. So, Dead for Reals this week, we've got Reuben Hurricane Carter.
This is a story on the hurricane.
The famous song
For something he never done.
That is amazing.
Thank you, yes.
Here's Bob Dylan. My Bob Dylan sounds a bit like Popeye the Sailor Man.
What happened to Reuben? Mr.
Reuben Carter? Well, he was an American middleweight boxer who was wrongly convicted of murder and later freed via petition of habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is that clause of the law that states that you are innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
After spending almost 20 years in prison. Now, in 1966, police arrested both Carter and friend John Artis for a triple homicide in the Lafayette Bar and Grill in Paterson, New Jersey. Police stopped Carter's car on a DWB, that's driving while black, and brought him and Artis also in the car to the scene of the crime. On searching the car, happily, the police found ammunition that fit the weapons used in the murder. as well as blood samples of the victims, hair and clothing from the victims, a pair of gloves marked Hurricanes honky shooting gloves, and a note that said, "It was me that did it, I shot him, yesser, damn white boys ain't no good," signed a black dude. So having all that proof, they didn't need to take fingerprints, and nor did they. They took no fingerprints at the crime scene and lacked the facilities to conduct a paraffin test for gunshot residue, as these items had unfortunately been accidentally repeatedly stood on and somehow dropped into a storm drain. Carter and Artis were tried and convicted twice in 1967 and 1976 for the murders, but after the second conviction was overturned in 1985, prosecutors chose not to try the case for a third time because they were tired and wanted a brandy and a nap. Carter's autobiography, it's got a Y in it, titled The 16th Round, stop laughing at me, was published in 1975 by Warner Books. The story inspired the 1975 Bob Dylan song, Hurricane. And the 1990 film The Hurricane with Denzel Washington playing Carver.
1999.
1999?
Yeah.
Did I say 89?
He said 90.
Oh, living in the past.
Past, man. You're living in the past, man.
Reuben Carter died at 76 of prostate cancer. And there's the bell. And that's the final bow. It's curtains once again on Dead for Reals. We'll see you on the other side. Queen there was Give Me the Prize. That sample there, of course, is at the bit at the end where Connor McLeod upsets a tea tray.
Oh.
Quite a large one.
A tea tray?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kurgan says, "Would you like to have tea?" Yes, Kurgan, I would like to have tea. He does a good Peter Lorre.
It is a bit Peter Lorre.
Peter Lorre.
Don't hit me, Rick. Don't hit me. You'll be slapped and you'll like it, see?
Yes.
No, Rick, don't slap me.
No, he does. Like, you've seen that movie. Nice to see you, Kurgan. Who cuts your hair? Yeah, Clancy Brown's great in that one. Clancy Brown is the Kurgan. Don't ever speak to me again.
Ooh.
Do you understand?
Ooh.
That is the same guy who does the voice of Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob.
Yes. Yep.
I love Hey, SpongeBob, you've got no brains at all.
But Mr. Pratt, I love it here.
Well, we'd love to regale you with bad impersonations all night long. So we will. No, we won't. We have to get off here. But first, we're going to go back to that terribly chilling movie that we were listening to clips from, because we have a third exclusive clip from the new Hammer horror film opening this week. It's called The Quiet Ones. We're going to listen to another clip here. It's really chilling, listeners. So if you like to be frightened, then you should get along and see this. Here's another from that movie.
I finally accepted the truth about you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just evil.
The other ball has cancer now. It's getting bigger.
No, I won't listen to any more of this. I won't listen.
Your mother lied. Your real father was Jimmy Savile.
You're evil. You're lying.
Raiders of the Lost Ark will be re-released in 3D.
Well, that doesn't sound too bad.
In the scene where he shoots the Black Swordsman, the Black Swordsman shoots first.
Hold me, Gav.
You got it.
That is
scary stuff.
That's terrifying. I don't know if I can actually watch the whole film.
Without throwing up.
I'm not gonna. I've got to go home alone tonight. It's gonna be like, I'm in a car, but still
spooky.
That's awful. Anyway, if you've just tuned in, this is the end of the show. So
you've timed it perfectly.